We lived in a small house. Mom, Dad, my sister, and I. Our house was not particularly pretty, but it was filled with love. I remember New Year night my dad bought us a bicycle. We were so excited and we jumped on it. I didn't even know how to ride a bike, but I remember the look on my dad's face. He was so happy to see us happy. It was as if he accomplished as a father. At that time we didn't even know our financial status, all we knew was we got a very cool gift. The next day I heard my mom talking to my dad, "How did you afford this? It is okay, you know, to not gift them anything. We shouldn't be spending like this." My dad said, "It's okay Mookie, the kids loved it, and that's all that matters." Later he said, "Plus, it is a second hand anyways, but it still works fine." I didn't understand what this second hand even meant, because I was so young, so I asked my sister and told her about what I heard. She told me it meant it's a used item. For some reason I never felt bad about it, but I respected my dad even more. I noticed that my mom never looked happy. She was either always sad, or stressed out about something. I couldn't understand, and I was more close with my sister, which was enough for me. Years have passed and we were doing so much better. We finally moved to a new house and it was so much bigger, and prettier, unlike our previous place which was filled with bugs, especially cockroaches. It was awful. Again, my mom still didn't look happy. I remember my dad took us to an amusement park, and it was awesome. My dad was the best, he knew exactly what we loved and I got to see a giant elephant for the first time ever. I was so amazed by it, I kept staring at it for so long that I didn't even realize everyone had left. I was there all by myself. I was terrified, because I was a very shy person and the only person I talked to was my sister, and she wasn't there. I stood there crying in silence thinking my dad will come back to me. But what if he didn't? So I decided to keep on walking, and I got lost even more. After several hours my mom found me and she was very upset. I don't remember Dad saying anything, but my mom grabbed my arm so tight and told me she will never take me anywhere ever again. I couldn't understand her anger, because I felt like how could they leave me? I got mad at her for being mad at me, so I said, "You suck. You're always angry, you're always grumpy, I never see you smile or be happy. You're nothing like Dad. I hate you!" Surprisingly, she wasn't upset. She didn't even respond to what I said. I felt like she was cold and heartless. Later that night, I couldn't sleep, because I couldn't stop thinking about how could she be so cold? What's her problem? Does she not love me? So I thought I'd go talk to her. I was walking towards my parents' room, and I heard the most horrifying sound I could ever imagine. I could hear my parents arguing, and a loud thud. I immediately opened the door and there he was, my dad. He was hitting my mom and was kicking her. My whole world turned upside down. What the fuck? He had the most horrifying look on his face as he noticed me standing there, frozen in shock. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing, my own father's violent outburst towards my mother. My heart pounded in my chest as I screamed, "Stop it!" Tears welled up in my eyes as I rushed to protect my mother from further harm. My mom, battered and bruised, was crying on the floor. I managed to pull my dad away from her, feeling a mix of fear, anger, and confusion. I yelled at him, "What's wrong with you? How could you do this?" He had no coherent answer, just a vacant and disturbed expression on his face. It took me so long to understand and so much courage from my mom to tell us the truth about my dad. All these years, why wasn't she happy? Why she never looked happy? She had to put up an act and get mad at me because she was protecting me. She was afraid if she didn't he might hurt me. I finally realized, my mom was my hero, and I knew that we needed help to get through this. However, I still loved my dad and wanted him to be part of our lives. Yes, we stayed together still and the beating still goes on every now and then, but the difference is we now know the reality of how cruel the world is. After all, he still pays the bills, and take care of our well-being. How can we turn our back on him? He is still our daddy, and we would still forgive him. We couldn't make that decision for Mom, right? We did the right thing, right? Right?